elevation at which you know for certain it's safe. So for me, that's somewhere around like here. This is like I call it like 6.
So you know in advance how much lean you can put into the
yeah,
rim.
but I know with 100% certainty. Like
Okay.
you know like exactly how. For some people it's here. For some people it's here. For some people it's all the way over here. Like you
Okay.
can have your 100% confidence be literally like this.
Okay.
That's enough. But what you do is you start here. So you initially start here, and then instead of what a lot of people do is they go like room. They start like weird torquing it, and when they do that, that's when you cut out. But what you do is you lean it, and then using the pads, you slowly push into it. So I'm pushing more and more and more and more, and then eventually you'll get to a point where either you've accelerated as fast as you want, or you're basically about to cut out because your physical
Do
limit is too
you
far.
feel that when the wheel is going to give up? Do you feel that?
You'll feel the motor literally getting like right here, like you'll feel it, and you'll feel it also as a person. Yeah, well, the dip.
So how often do you get that pedal dip?
Well, so on that on like the accelerations, like normal pedal dip or like the pedal dip before
Yeah,
cutout?
when the motor is getting too much.
Honestly, probably every time. But
Every time?
that's because I know it's safe.
Okay.
Because I've done it many times, so it's kind of like a trial and error. So you'll start with like my guaranteed 70%. I know this is safe. I'll do this. And again, this isn't the wheel 70%. This is my personal 70%. So when I do this, I know my wheel can take it. When I go farther, I know my wheel can probably take it, and then I get less and less confident. And then the second I'm like, okay, this is kind of too risky, then I hold that. And so you hold that acceleration. So, but the whole point in that entire time is that it's not like you're like jumping to each thing. It's a very gradual acceleration process.
How do you manage your arms?
They do whatever they do.
Okay, you don't even think about it.
I think in one video,
You don't go like forwards.
One video I have it like this, another I have it behind my back,
Okay.
another I have it like I've never done this though. I don't understand that, but
So either one.
I don't know. A lot of people accelerate like this.
You gotta have your arms, put them in front, and then you overlean and you pull them back.
I only do one, like so because my left one goes like this. I go like left one forward, right one back. That way it twists my body and I can torque it harder. But I've never done both because when I do both, that gives me the idea that I'm getting an even amount of pressure on this and this, but I'm putting an uneven amount because when you put an even amount of pressure, you can't get that guarantee. Like no one can get a perfect.
Never.
Like you can never get both exactly right. So you'll wobble a little bit. So the key is if you just offset it and you have a plant foot, you're kind of guaranteeing like your left foot will kind of manage to match the right one while this right one's like a rock and this one's kind of like slowly matching that as you accelerate.
How do you? So you top speed, corners coming. How do you reverse everything?
So you first go wide because if you take it tight, you'll have to brake way harder. So first thing is go wide and then brake. And as you're braking, a lot of people like to brake with their like, it's a little weird, but they lean back. So their upper body is like this. But when you want to brake on cornering at least, you want to be like sitting. That way, when you're sitting like this, again with the offset, right as you're about to get on the like edge of that turn, you're gonna start accelerating already. So you haven't even done the turn yet, and you're just gonna start accelerating because you're on the outside. So like, if this is the turn here, you're gonna be all the way out here, and when you cut in, you've already braked in this early section.
Okay.
So now you're slow enough, and then the second you start turning, you're already accelerating.
Yeah.
As you're turning, your acceleration begins because you'll be doing this, and then if you just do this, you're turning.
How much do you open your knee on the outside? Do you open your knee on the
It
inside of
depends
the?
how tight the turn is. If it's like these basically 90-degree turns, I have it pretty far. Like I will sometimes fully have it like out here.
Gotcha.
And that's just again preference. I've seen some people go like this, they're stiff, and they go like put their arms like this. It looks really unnatural, but it works for them. I don't like that because if you hit a bump or something, it completely throws you off.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I like to have this knee bend, this one solid, and then you kind of just ride around. So even if you hit a bump or something unexpected.
How do you control? Let's say for a reason X or Y, you start braking and your wheel starts wobbling. How do you control that? Do you wobble?
So in context of a race, basically a wobble is you're losing control. All you need to do is take the control back. So a lot of people suggest like carving, accelerating, but never keep braking because braking usually causes wobbles. If you start braking, you'll wobble even more and make it worse. It gets worse and worse. So all you want to do is take that control back. So that could mean you can just start carving. If you're in the middle of a race, you should probably just do mini carves so you're not going to hit someone. But if you're like on the street, like on the open, I would just say accelerate. Like if you're wobbling, just go back to what you were doing before and accelerate and take your power back. Basically, when you brake, you're leaving the wheel.
Do you have any play on your feet when you try to control, or you don't?
What do you mean?
So this is what I do, but I know a lot of people don't do that. It's just I lift up my heel.
Oh yeah,
wobbling.
Totally. Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Do that.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Because you don't see.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
if
I
you
think
start
this-
wobbling, boom, you put.
Yeah,
there
I
you
think
go.
this one is honestly like sometimes
Yeah.
it's genuinely like up like this.
Gotcha.
Like I have it fully raised. I have a photo where it's like you can see it's like a little bit, but that's even on my right foot. So sometimes when I'm hard
But
accelerating,
do you
I'll have this one.
Do
and
you
then
do
this
it
one.
preemptively or only if you are
I
losing
do it
control?
every time.
Every time.
Every time, no matter
Gotcha.
what. That's like basically like a routine. Like you want your whole process to be something that you're doing the exact same every time. That way, whatever hits you, you know what you're doing. You can just kind of go with it. So when you're accelerating, again, this is why I don't like the stiff turns when they go like this. If you're like this, you'll hit a bump, and you'll have your knee bent, so you'll just kind of eat it like this. You're fine. You keep riding.
Cool.
If you're stiff, you'll like this, and if you're at high speed, you'll start wobbling. So that's basically the idea. Is like you want to be able to do the same thing every time that is adaptable to anything that someone does. Your car door opens, your bent knee, you can still swerve out of the way.
So you say that. So this is your base foot. This is your the one
yeah,
directional
kinda,
foot.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that you are cornering on either side, you will still keep that same stance.
When I'm cornering on the right side, it actually changes, and only in that scenario because I really like having this is my normal. This is normal to me, and doing the other side is my unnatural side. And
So you prefer
I
left turn,
left
sorry,
turns. Yeah, I prefer left
then
turns
right
over
turn.
than right turns.
But
But,
you will
you'll still have to. I'll do the exact thing. I'll just flip it. But that's something that you just need to practice. Like it took me a while to get used to.
Gotcha.
But a lot of these turns are just left turns over and over again, so I got lucky. But yeah, a lot of times
Wow.
it doesn't make sense to go like this and then turn that way. Like you'll have to go like this and go in.
So when you lean, how much do you feel that your pads are holding you? Are you
If I had no pads, I'd fall on my face.
okay?
So these pads, even if you have like literally a foam sheet, like there's no leverage, as long as it's sticky enough that's holding you up somewhat, the slick plastic of most of the wheels will have you slide forward. So you want leverage. Like all you're trying to do is try to find a way to get this wheel to push forward. So if you had no pads, honestly, I would just grab the front and grab the back and accelerate like this.
Gotcha.
But obviously you can just use pads and it feels way better.
So you do lock yourself in the pads, like when you go, you
I
really have
lock
this
with this
one.
one,
This
and then
one
this
is
one kind of
you
pushes
just
on the
cannot
outside.
come on
Yeah.
the edge,
Yeah, coming right there.
and then boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of, yeah. But again, like if you have like locked-in
Interesting.
pads, like I don't know, like even the Grizzly pads are more locked into these. You basically never go around it. You'll always just push up against it. So
How do you
I
manage?
think you know what you're doing.
No, I'm learning how to walk.
How do you manage the beep?
Like
So when you get into those beep area, like are you do you slow down as soon as your beep come off, or you just
you can ride them. You can totally ride the beeps. That's 80%. So you can ride those beeps for probably. Like say you're accelerating, you start beeping. I won't keep accelerating. I'll lay off a little, but I'll still hold it. So I'll hold the beeps if it's race context. If I'm on the street and I'm beeping, it's usually not worth it. So I just kind of lay off on it a little. But that's just like a personal preference thing.
and then you hear it from the wheel, or you have it in
No,
your
so I have something called Cutout, which is like a JBL speakers in my
Cutout.
thing, and I have on darkness spot from device alarms. So whenever this wheel beeps,
there you
your
go.
phone will make a beep. and because it's
Yeah,
connected
that's
to
what
the
I've been
Bluetooth.
trying to tell everyone. Just
Yeah,
but,
from
yeah.
device alarms is
Yeah.
the best, yeah.
It's the setup. It's the setup.
It's better to know your wheel than to rely on the
Yeah.
beats, though.
Oh, for sure,
You
yeah.
just can feel it.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes, particularly when you're in group rides, you have a lot of people. It's a wheel start beeping. You don't know if it's yours or not.
That's why.
So that's
nice.
why
You know
it's you.
Well, especially in a race setting.
Like when you are with a lot of people, and then you go in the street, and then everybody's start
But that's
bongo.
what I'm saying. Like even
Yeah.
wind noise sounds like beeps, so it's like it can be intermittent.
I think the normal beeper I never hear at that speed. Like 50, like low 50s, like no chance. Like unless I'm riding like this, which I have done before, it doesn't feel.
Because that's the
nice,
thing.
but-
Like 50 past 45, yeah, you're shit.
talking about pedal dip, can I share an exercise I have to practice that? Okay, so it's the 0 mile per hour cutoff. I'll demonstrate and then
Oh,
turn it off.
Do you wanna try to do it on the 130?
Try. You say try. I mean, I'll bring my ace in.
I think it's actually not.
Oh no, with it off.
Oh, with it off?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not like over torquing it?
No.
Okay. I thought this was like.
It's to feel the pedal dip, so you would like.
Oh,
I have
let's go.
two hands. I get on the wheel. Feel what it feels like. This is what a cutoff feels like.
Okay.
And then pull it back. Pull it back.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you
Cutoff,
train.
cutoff,
That's how you
cutoff.
train
So
for.
I train, but I don't see anyone else doing it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
good
gonna
tip.
popularize it.
It is very good
This is
tip.
a cutoff. This is what a cutoff feels like. It feels exactly like this. The wheel's off, but hey, I'm not falling. And sure, I'm holding on to something, but like you would have forward momentum.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like.
I think I saved like 3 or 4. I actually saved one earlier yesterday.
I do that all the time. It's a regular day, so that's what I recommend.
Have you seen the video of Zach? Zach
Yeah. All right.
His cutout.
He was like-
his cutout point was about this much. His cutout point was about this much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he literally rode like this. For
Anyways,
until he caught it.
If you lift your wheel and you see it spinning out, you have about 2 seconds to pull it back.
Yeah.
And if you hit a bump, then you're on low battery. It's gonna
And
feel
then
like
you-
that too.
on 100
Right. So
That's on 100 volt. On 130,
Sure,
on
sure,
134 volt, it wiggles back and forth. It doesn't drop. It wiggles back and forth. Don't ride
I
it.
had like pedal dip like when it almost cut out and it got pedal dip like it just was normal. It was like the normal.
Did you feel it jiggle back and forth?
No, it was the normal like boom, and then you gotta catch it. You gotta
So
pull back.
maybe it's because it doesn't have the suspension, but because the other ones have suspension.
And it
When Zach and I did it with Ryan's wheel,
Yeah.
it literally did that. It just wiggled back and forth.
Are you sure that's not the?
might be a firmware thing.
Yeah, I think that might be a top.
That was
He did
Yeah,
that.
that sounds like
actually
firmware.
it was on this wheel that we did it. It was that wheel that we were.
That sounds like firmware. I'll be
But it has
honest. Just
suspension.
because when a wheel is about to cut out, it doesn't have the power to start wiggling it. It's just turning off. So you have a half second where it's literally off, and then you just bring it back to literally. It's like you're reviving it. Like
But then
you
again,
just
it's
bring it-
134 volt.
Yeah, I mean,
Never bail.
yeah, just always just.
Never bail. You
Yeah,
feel
pull
it
back.
like this.
Don't bail.
Yeah. Never bail.
Knees forward, shoulders
That's
back.
that's yeah.
Hips forward, shoulders back.
And even in case of like an impact, like you're gonna get a car, take it. Like don't bail out of the wheel. Just go and take it. You will have more chance
You can
of
brake, you can slow down.
not injuring yourself than if you try to bail out and then the wheel goes, you go, and then everything gets taken out.
Does
Where
anyone have any like specific questions?
I actually do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a question of like the answer is not enough experience. It's going to break the wheel if you do that. It's fine if you do that, or you shouldn't do that. So I raced last week in Richmond, in BC, Canada, and that was like my first EUC race. I placed pretty well. I placed 11th out of 23 men. I was only one
Nice.
rider.
Cool.
So when I hit my corners on the MSS, it's fine. I was hitting them at speed. I was in control. I wasn't oscillating. But when I watched the videos back, my wheel was like
Bouncing.
it was like hopping in the corners.
Yeah.
Is it? Am I gonna
Did
break
you
my
feel-
wheel if I do that?
Did you feel it bouncing?
Underneath my feet, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I just let it
So-
happen.
so-
Because I'm not a rider that
Yeah.
agrees. Like everybody can do their own thing. It's too much risk for me to be a rider.
Right.
Allows myself to pedal scrape. I do not do that. That is a personal thing. I don't like relying in recalibrating. I think if I pedal scrape, I'm gonna crash, and that is just not safe for me. So I don't do it.
I would say that in terms of that bouncing, most likely that was the ground, which is really common on tracks.
It was an abandoned go-kart track.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
You have it set up the same. Is the tire the same pressure?
I'll check it after he's finished explaining. I have